Hello, Scorpio. I hope you guys are doing really, really well. My name is Brian. I am your queer psychic bestie, and I have a reading for you guys today. Scorpio, this is your month of August monthly forecast. Okay, so this is going to be a reading for anyone who has Scorpio in their chart. Is a Scorpio? Maybe you're a cross watcher. Who knows? If you are any of these, the reading may resonate for you. As always, take what resonates and leave what does not. Okay? If you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can do that through email or form submission on my website. But we are going to be doing a Celtic cross today, Scorpio. So that is your entire month under a magnifying glass. We will be talking about everything. Okay? Interesting. Let's see what's going on. I think that's my whole little spiel. Let's see what's going on. Scorpio. We're looking a little roadblocky in August for you guys. I don't know why. I'll know more as we go through it, but this is a very, like, we're seeming to be a little bit, I almost want to say going through the motions. It feels like some of you guys are almost waking up from some sort of dream here. It's like you're becoming conscious again is what I want to say. Interesting. For some of you, this could be about work, but let's not dive. Let me not assume. And let's just dive into the reading. So bottom of your deck, Scorpio, represents your challenge, represents what you're not seeing, what you're not looking at. We've got the Ace of Cups, the Ten of Cups, the Two of Swords, Two of Pentacles. Okay. Scorpio, your challenge in August is going to be really focusing on what makes you happy. You know, what in your life is enriching you versus bringing you down. Sorry, I'm eating my beard. You know, I feel like with the Ace of Cups here and the Ten of Cups, that's a very heavy, like, some of you could have a really strong fear of being happy here, like an unsettled sort of, I don't really know how to be happy fear. Or for others of you, this is a feeling of like happiness can be snatched away. But it feels like it's kind of reverberating through your whole life, and you're really looking at, well, what's giving to me in the long term versus short. This is almost like long-term happiness versus short-term gratification is what I kind of feel like your month is shaping up to look like here, Scorpio. So let's dive in. Let's see what's going on. You start with the Six of Wands in your current energies. So great start. Six of Wands is victory. It is success. You know, I feel like a lot of you guys, I'm also hearing like your measure of success is changing. You know, I feel like for a lot of you guys, you've measured success through, for a lot of you, we're talking about some internalized capitalism today. You've measured success through your money. You know, well, how successful at work am I? How much money do I have to show for this? And I feel like a lot of this is kind of like showcasing for you. It reminds me a lot of, if any of you have ever like studied sociology, when you look at the modern day version of our masculinity, it's called marketplace manhood, which does talk about, oh, well, look, I have the nice watch and I have this nice car and I have all these flashy things to show off, to show you manliness, to show you productivity, to show you worth. And it feels like some of you guys are struggling with the deconstruction of that. You know, it's like you are successful, but how are you measuring it? You know, are you measuring it against standards that were never even made for you? You know, Page of Cups is your crossing card. The crossing card in a Celtic cross is either a help or a hindrance. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I feel like it's a little bit of a hindrance because I feel like we're talking about your childhood a little bit. It feels like for some of you, you could have had, how do I say this? You could have grown up in areas that were not particularly affluent, or maybe you didn't come from a lot of money or struggled with poverty your whole life. And so it feels like your childhood has really shaped the way in which you are interacting with money and the way in which you see money and the way, because money is an energy, it's a resource, you know? But poverty is systemic, you know? So you're kind of at this weird crossroads where you're aware that, like, yes, money is a resource, but also poverty is man-made, you know? And I feel like for some of you guys, you're trying to understand yourself in a way that will help you change the compass at which you're gauging success here, okay? But I feel like for a lot of you, it's not an easy task simply because of the upbringing. Okay, that's interesting. I just heard gifted child. You could have grown up as like a gifted child. Like maybe you were really good at school. You excelled. And so now it's almost like the way I'm hearing it is my guys are saying like the come down of that. Like you're up so high as a gifted child. And then as an adult, there's like that really harsh crash from it. Because for some of you also, again, this can be really specific. Don't take it, like only take what resonates. Grades were really important in your household. Like there was a lot of significance on how well you did academically. And so now as an adult, I feel like a lot of you have come to this is an ugly realization to have of like, wait, grades don't exist in the real world. Obviously, in corporate settings, we can get performance reviews and we have reviews at work if we're in corporate and things like this. But like, if I go out and I don't know, get my car, if I wash my car, I'm not going to get a grade on how well I washed my car. You know, I feel like for some of you, you are chasing the high of like this recognition of like, ooh, for lack of a better way to put it, my guides are saying this kind of mean, like, tell me I did a good job. The praise, you know, and I feel like it's warping. It's not currently warping, but your experiences from early childhood have warped the way in which you're seeing the world currently, okay? You've got the Empress, Mom, the Wheel of Fortune, Justice, and the Six of Wands. It feels like Justice, the Wheel of Fortune, and Empress, it's almost like some of you only... Hold on. Say it again. Oh, this is brutal. That's a brutal one. Okay. Some of you only had a mother who loved you under certain circumstances. Okay. There was a very strong maternal figure here. Like I said, it doesn't have to be a mother. Some of us are raised by 2 women, 2 men. Who knows what you were raised by? But it feels like you kind of internalize this idea of like, I have to reach a certain threshold to be deserving of love or to be worthy of it or like to make sure I can sustain it. And a lot of you, this ties into that productivity wound, right? Because it's like, let's say you, for some of you, you are partnered right now and it's like you will go out of your way above and beyond to do everything that you can for your partner because of this idea of like, well, I need to prove that I deserve to be here, that I deserve to be with. And I feel like for a lot of you, this is like, it has tanked your self-esteem over the years because it has eroded your vision of yourself. You know, it's eroded the way you see yourself and the way you interact with yourself. And then as a result, interact with the world, you know, because your view of yourself is so transient. It's always changing. It's not secure. The way you interact with the world is then never secure. It's always changing and it's always affected by outside factors. Do you see what I mean here? Because in your head, you've got the 8 of Wands in your headspace. I feel like a lot of you are aware of this. Like, I don't feel like I'm necessarily telling you any new information here with that 8 of Wands. I feel like some of you guys have had talks about this already where you've become, again, aware of it. You see it, but you're not, the way my guides are saying this to me is you're not necessarily engaging with it. So like you're seeing it, you're like, oh, yeah, that's kind of ugly. I don't really want. But then you're like, well, I'll just leave it over there. I'll deal with it eventually. And I feel like your guides are now kind of catching up to you to be like, hey, boo, what are we doing about that? you know? And I feel like now August is looking like a very reflective month for you. You know, it is looking like I said in the beginning, it's coming through again, some speed bumps. It's looking like it's going to be a little bit of like a rocky road here. You know, but I also feel like it's very necessary. Yeah, I love this. Yeah, Five of Cups, King of Cups. Oh, that fell out. I'll take it. Ace of Pentacles in the reverse. Yeah. What I think is interesting with the Five of Cups in this deck is it's a broken mask. That's kind of where you are, Scorpio. The mask is cracking. You know, like, that's like, I may even call that the title of the video, The Mask is Cracking. Because it feels like, again, with that King of Cups in the next one, notice how these are both silhouettes of the face. I mean, this one looks like a pufferfish. This is like a gothic doll tarot. You know, and then the Ace of Pentacles, but it's in the reverse. It feels like for a lot of you guys, you're recognizing and you're having these realizations of like, okay, my idea of self is limiting. My identity is not really authentic right now. I'm not showing up in how I want to be right now. But then with that King of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles in the reverse, it's kind of like the money always wins out. I feel like you don't give yourself enough space to be emotional because you're so concerned still with the money, with the physical world here. You know, and I feel like a lot of you guys need to be a little bit more understanding with yourself, you know, a little bit more gracious with yourself here. Because like I said, the mask is cracking, babe. The mask is faltering is what I keep hearing. You know, it's, you can only keep up the act for so long. You know, it's like remaining in the closet. You can only keep that up for so long before people are kind of like, hey, we know what's going on here. You know, I feel like a lot of you guys are in that same kind of space. You know, maybe you're not in the closet, but you're keeping up this facade that has all these cracks and dents in it, and you don't really know where to go with it just yet. I feel like at the core of this, you need to start, as funny as this sounds, like ripping the mask apart. You know, in order to get to, if you think of things like an onion or like a fruit with a hard shell around it or some sort of like anything that's shelled, you know, in order to get to the good stuff, you have to kind of rip that shell off and rip it back and rip it away, you know, and then you get to the fruit that's inside. A lot of you need to treat your mask as the same. If you want to figure out who you are, start ripping the mask off. Okay, this is very random. Some of this is going to be very specific for someone because not everyone watched this. Teen Titans, and I want to say his name is Slade. He's like the main villain. I watched it growing up. I don't remember much about it. So if that's you, if you watch Teen Titans and like Slade was something for you, I'd look into it a little bit, okay? Because in your physical world, you've got the Nine of Wands in the reverse, which is nice to see. I do prefer the Nine of Wands in the reverse because Nine of Wands upright for me is like fully wounded. Like I'm kind of like, it's trepidation. I don't want to do that. I don't want to go that way. I'm good over here. Nine of Wands in the reverse is like, okay, I'm willing to give it one last shot. I'm willing to give it this last go here. You have the Devil in your challenge as well. Like I said, a lot of you are fighting very strongly some self-limiting beliefs here. Knight of Wands, I'll take it. But I feel like a lot of you are also kind of tired. As soon as I got to this part of your reading, all of a sudden I'm exhausted. You know, it's like anytime you think about tackling this within yourself and tackling like the masks and the facades and tearing them down, I feel like a lot of you guys get exhausted by just the thought of it. You've got, yeah, Queen of Pentacles, we've got the Sun in the reverse, and then the Knight of Wands. Like I said, a lot of you, Queen of Pentacles, this is like a nurturer issue. This is like I said, it could be a mom issue. Queen of Pentacles is a mom card for me. But for a lot of you, it's like, Oh, that's a strong word to come through. Um, brainwashed. Some of you were brainwashed, probably a lot more of you than you really think, into believing what someone else wanted you to believe. You know, I feel like with that Knight of Wands here in the Sun, a lot of you thought that your persona or who you were showing up as in the world was true, and it it's like it was true to an extent, but it was never true for you. It was true of what the other person wanted from you. Um, you know, and I feel like especially with that Sun in the reverse, it's almost like you were always just, how do I say that? This is such a weird feeling. Just about to be happy? Like, I feel like that's what we talked about in the beginning, too. Like, that's where that wound seems to come from for me. It's like you were always just on the precipice of being happy. And then something would go wrong here. It feels like what was going wrong was just simply put, you were not living a life that you wanted to live. You were not living something that was exciting or happy or enriching for you. You just were simply living for someone else's idea of who you wanted to be, you know? Because in your past here, you've got the Seven of Wands. Defensiveness, babe. You know, in the past, I feel like you've always had to have a guard up. You've always had to have this sort of like, okay, that's a weird way to put this from my guides. It's like you were in prison. Obviously, I've never been to prison, but I can imagine it is always like someone's out to get you. You always have to protect yourself. You always have to be on guard. And I feel like a lot of you guys, like where you lived or like where you grew up, could have felt like a prison, where you were always sort of protecting yourself, guarding yourself. And it feels like you learned a deep distrust of people wherever a lot of where you guys came from. Yeah, the Hanged Man. I feel like because you spent so much time wherever this was for you guys, that's the yeah, Ten of Pentacles. Like I said, it's the family. We've got Death and the Four of Wands. I feel like for a lot of you in the past here, you were very gung-ho to get rid of the family trauma, to work through it. You know, I feel like a lot of you took a lot of very strong, active steps into your healing journey, which is really, really important and really positive, but it feels like it's come back to haunt you a little bit. Okay, there is no shame in thinking we healed something and only to realize that we didn't. Okay, I feel like for a lot of you here with the Hanged Man and the Four of Wands, this is a roughie. It's like you're more committed to waiting than you are to actually healing. And I feel like with the Death and the Ten of Pentacles here, like I said, as I'm trying to read through this energy, I cannot tell you how exhausted I have become. It feels like, Scorpio, a lot of you guys need to take rest for yourself, but also it's like heal rest. That's like kind of what I'm getting here, because a lot of you guys are burning the candle at both ends. You know, I feel like at least coming from this past position, I think you guys kind of burned yourself out. I think you went so hard, so fast into your healing journey. You like catapulted yourself, and then you got there and you did what you could, and you did it for however long you could, and now you are exhausted. You are like, girl, I'm clocked out of this. Like, I don't want to do it anymore. And I feel like that's part of the problem here. You know, it's like some of you guys need to learn balance. You need to learn how to not do everything 0 or 100. That's very Scorpio of you. Scorpio is like, I have a Scorpio moon, and it does manifest as that it's all or nothing. And a lot of you guys need to learn here that there is that medium. You know, there is that happy ground in the middle ground, where you're not just like flagrantly burning yourself out, and you are taking it sort of day by day, a little bit slower, and being a little bit more kind with yourself, okay? Because in your near future, you've got the Page of Wands. So It does feel like to me, again, for some of you, you guys could be going back to therapy. You could be re-entering therapy. Maybe you got back into therapy recently. But a lot of you feel like you're taking a little bit more of like an active approach to your healing in the near future. Like it's more so okay, I'm recognizing I can't heal this by myself. I should reach out. I should do something. I should find someone. Keep in mind when we are talking about healing, obviously, there are tarot readers, there are psychic mediums. I am not the only one. There are local ones. You know, there are people with the tools that can help you. And so when we talk about healing, I'm not explicitly always talking about therapy, right? We can reach out to other forms of healing. I mean, this is a form of healing, right? So keep that in mind. But also keep in mind that can apply to doctors. If we have a medical condition and we need doctor help, then we go to a doctor. We don't go to a tarot reader, okay? So just know, I don't know why my guides want me to clarify that for you. It's like when we're talking about this healing and being more active, excuse me, we are talking about a little bit more chameleon, okay? It can change. You've got the Two of Pentacles here, the Six of Swords, the Four of Swords, and the Eight of Swords. I just think this is really the same energy. I think you guys burnt it out. I really think you ran in and you just threw everything you had at your healing journey, and then we're like, okay, well, I don't have anything left. And now it's like, even if you haven't done this in years, it's like now the recuperation of that expenditure of energy and strength and willpower and being able to delve into it and grief and reprocess, all of that has kind of left you depleted. It's left you a little bit like, oh my God, I have to do it again. You know, but I feel like with the Eight of Swords here, what you guys need to understand with the Six of Swords and the Four of Swords as well is that you're looking at it very black and white. Okay, I want to remind you that healing is not linear and healing is messy. And there is no set schedule for healing, okay? You guys need to be able to move beyond like this need for it to be very mapped out and organized and allow it to be messy. Emotions are messy. Healing is messy. Delving into trauma is messy. This is not something that's going to be just a, you know, y equals mx plus b, okay? This is not a simple formula, all right? Scorpio, be a little bit kinder with yourself here and allow yourself a little bit more room to be messy. It doesn't have to look perfect, okay? Because how you view yourself right now is the Eight of Pentacles. Like I said, babe, you're kind of burning the candle here. I feel like a lot of you guys are working, and you're just kind of working, and then you work more. You know, I feel like there's a very big emphasis here on this reading of like, well, all I'm doing is working. All I'm doing is performing labor. And it feels like that's got a lot of you in this mode of, I just have to keep going. I just have to keep doing it. Even though you're burnt out. Yeah, Two of Cups. I don't feel like a lot of you are necessarily very balanced within yourself right now. I think that's the problem here. King of Pentacles, Page of Wands, exactly. Like I said, King of Pentacles. You have a very strong instinct, trauma response, of wanting to amass as much money as quickly as possible to make yourself feel as secure as possible. But with that Page of Wands, I feel like you're not leaving yourself any room to experience a life, to experience anything outside of just work. Because it feels like for a lot of you guys, you're just, it's that energy of, I spend so much time at work that I don't have spoons left to do anything else. You know, your friend's like, oh, hey, come out with us. And you're like, no, I'm too tired. You know, it feels like a lot of you guys have pulled away from your community simply because you don't have the spoons. It's like you take your spoon drawer out for work, you turn it upside down and you shake it And that's all the spoons that you're giving to everything else, except for you, your friends, your community, the things that you actually want to do. And so it's no wonder, Scorpio, that you are exhausted and angry and tired and all of this. You have to start making time for yourself, okay? Your superpower right now is judgment, babe. I feel like for a lot of you guys, Scorpio, there is this is going to be hard to hear. I know you don't want to hear it. You have the ability to cut things out right now. Whether that is I don't know. There's so many different things you can get rid of, to make room for things that you actually want to do. And I feel like a lot of you guys need to start really looking at that and thinking about it. And for some of you, journal. Yeah, journal about it. Okay. But it's like what you need to look around and ask yourself, what is superfluous for me right now? What's not giving back to me? Let's say, I don't know, you told your neighbor you would mow their lawn every week out of the kindness of your heart. And you're recognizing that you're like, hey, this is taking 3 hours of my time. After already working for 9 hours, you can reach out to people and tell them, hey, I can't do this anymore. You're helping the local theater and it's taking up too much time for you. You have a judgment moment here, Scorpio. Reach out to people and tell them, be honest. I am working 9-hour days and I have committed 5 hours on this specific day to you at the theater troupe, and I'm really sorry. I can't do it anymore. I have no spoons. My mental health is in the gutter. Okay? A lot of you guys, that's funny what my guy just said to me. People pleasing will be the death of you. Okay? You need to, like I said, you don't want to and you don't want to hear it, but there are things that can go. There are things that you can get rid of to make room for what you need to do. Also what I just heard is that's outside my job description. For some of you, this may also look like at your job. Hey, that's not something I should be doing. When I'll give you a real world example of this. When I was a barista, I was getting trained to be promoted, and I was being trained on how to do the things that I would be doing when I was promoted before getting promoted. So in my mind, I was like, oh, this is fine. I don't really mind. But I should have been making at the time roughly $5 more an hour for what I was being trained to do. You cannot, Scorpio, you cannot be afraid to say that is outside of my job description. I should have said, I will learn how to count a cash register when my pay gets bumped up. I did not. Okay? You have the Moon and the Three of Cups here. I feel like a lot of you guys fear judgment. Like you fear either rocking the boat or like you fear causing a problem here. As Scorpio, it is so rare that I feel like I have to tell a Scorpio this, but you need to be a little bit more of the problem. Okay, I know you don't want to rock the boat. I know that you don't really want to have to cause some sort of like an uproar here, but you may have to. When it comes down to taking care of yourself and caring for yourself and putting yourself first, like I said to you, I'm going to say it again, other things have to go. Okay, a lot of you know this. It's in the cards. You just have to do it, okay? Your fear here, though, is the Five of Pentacles. Your fear is that it's almost like, this is weird how my guides are giving it to me, like the wrong side of history. Like, I feel like your fear is that you're doing something wrong here, or like you're being the problem, or you're like not doing something appropriate. And I feel like this is false. This is a mind game. I feel like you're playing with yourself here. Let's go back to the barista example. If I am getting trained on how to do managerial work at barista level, is that appropriate? No. Why would I tell myself it is appropriate? It's like you could look at examples like that from any sort of job, anywhere, and you would tell your friend the same thing. If your friend came up to you and was like, hey, they're teaching me how to count the register, but I don't have a title change and I don't have a salary increase, your friend would be like, okay, so don't. You know, with the Judgment and the Nine of Pentacles here, at the end of the day, Scorpio, you have to really weigh up and ask yourself, what is my peace worth? What's my happiness worth? What is going after my own dreams worth to me? Because at the end of the day, if you have to rock the boat a little bit, if you have to maybe even knock some bitches overboard, if it creates a world where you can then become happy and fulfilled and not bogged down and upset all of the time, is it not worth it? My guides literally want me to ask you, what more do you need? How bad does it have to get before you advocate for yourself? Before you step in on your own behalf? Because your outcome here, Scorpio, is the Ace of Pentacles and the Six of Pentacles. Some of you also have a fear of like, oh, maybe I'll get fired or I won't get what I deserve. Babe, you will. Ace of Pentacles, Six of Pentacles is equal give and take in money. I don't see finances really being a problem in this reading for you at all, Scorpio. I just feel like I keep hearing like you need to look outside the box, okay? You need to think outside the box. You need to, it's like you need to entertain options that I don't think you've entertained before. Yeah, you have the Devil and the High Priestess. That's a strong combo. It's also a very magic combo. A lot of you guys, if you are into the craft, you need to lean into the craft a little bit right now. You need to find your roots again, okay? But you also have to remember that you hold the cards here, Scorpio. This is your life. It's your decisions. It's your future, okay? You have more power than you are really allowing yourself to understand here and grasp. You know, this is not, I really don't feel like this is a moment where you have no sway. This to me feels very much like you have more power than you really think. Okay? So let's get you an Oracle card, see what your advice is from this deck. But I don't see it. Ace of Pentacles, Six of Pentacles. Money looks good here. Money looks fine. This does not feel like you advocate for what's good for you and you get fired. That doesn't come across in this reading. Obviously, disclaimer, anything can happen. Everyone has free will. You could catch your boss on a bad day and, you know, it is what it is. But I don't see it, Scorpio. I really don't. I gotta be honest with you guys. I don't see it here. I see everything working out for you. But you have to start advocating for yourself. And you got to start putting in, like, you just got to try a little bit for yourself, okay? All right. This is the Angelarium. It's my favorite Oracle deck. I use this. If you've seen any of my readings, I use this in almost every single reading. Let's get it. What is Scorpio's advice for August, please? Watch the Angel of Sacrifices come out. I'll die. What's the advice for Scorpio here, please, for August? Please? Thank you. Interesting. You guys got Coca Biel, Angel of the Stars. Very interesting. She is also on the book. Let's read it to you. Ah, almost lost my grip on the whole book. Damn. Okay. Gotta find her first. She's number 31 for those of us that are into numerology. All right. Drawing cards from a divination deck certainly speaks to a latent curiosity, but drawing this card specifically may speak to a deeper desire to seek answers from the infinite. When a question hangs over our heads, it does so with the same intensity as starlight in clear sky. Seek your answers, but don't be dazzled by the dance of faraway glimmers. This is a really fitting card for your reading, Scorpio, because it always reminds me we can do any form of divination we want. We could do a scribble reading, we could do a card reading, you could do a charm reading, a bone reading, whatever it is for you. Tarot is a tool. It points us in the direction. It gives us prompts. It gives us opportunity to know ourselves better. But we cannot get bogged down in the tarot so much that we don't take physical action. August is physical action for you, Scorpio, okay? I will leave that there for you, my lovely Scorpios. That is your reading. That's your monthly forecast, okay? If this reading resonates with you, or if just my reading style in general resonates with you, do consider liking and subscribing. We are on the road to 200 subscribers, which is super exciting. If you would like to interact with me on a live basis, I do go live on Twitch 3 days a week. You can catch me Wednesday and Friday from 6 to 8 p.m. EST, as well as Saturday from 4 to 6 p.m. EST. I do also have a Discord server, so if you do find your way over to Twitch, that's how you can get into the Discord server. And that is where we post all of my updates about the stream, updates about what's going on, things of that sort. So yeah, Scorpio, I leave you with this. I hope to see you on Twitch, and if not, it's okay. I will catch you in the next video, all right? Bye!